Hey all, so this is week 110, and I'm going to talk a little bit about some fun things I've been finding with music theory. This last week I've been doing mostly on guitar the challenge of doing fretboard memorization, left hand and right hand dexterity, and 1, 2, 3, 4s. And I put a 30-day challenge into the fretboard memorization, left hand and right hand dexterity. And I'm making pretty good progress. I'll post probably later on some of the charts, but probably a good hour a day is put into just doing those drills. So then I have some fun with the guitar, and I'm also, again, I think finally going to teach myself some piano. So I've been working on rhythms and stuff, but for this in the music theory, I've actually been kind of finding some things that make sense in retrospect, but it's just so much easier to see on the piano. So for instance, the song Lean On Me by Bill Withers, it's basically in the key of C. It has a C, and then you chromatically move up, or I guess chord harmonically move up to F. And so when I was figuring this out by ear, I had to do that last part instead of like to a G to C. I was doing a B diminished, thinking, hey, that sounds pretty good. Versus, and why is it that diminished sounds so nice going back to C? Well, the diminished is, of the C. This is the B diminished. This is the B is the leading tone back to C. It really wants to resolve the C. And so the stacked third is a diminished. And this G, Well, the interesting thing about the G is that it shares two notes of the B diminished. This B in the minor third with it. And if you go down to here and put the G in there, that B minor third, when you add the G to it, becomes a G major. So that's why the G, which is the fifth, resolves to the C. It feels like it's a dominant, right? But the interesting thing is that we like to do our fifth really as a dominant seventh, right? So, so this is a dominant seventh to C, right? And the dominant seventh sounds really nice because it really strongly resolves to the C. But that makes sense because if you have a G dominant seventh and you remove the root note, you have your B diminished. It's kind of cool. In fact, when you look at any of these chords here, in the harmony, so you have your C major, right? But if you put this is a minor seventh, so a minor seventh chord is an A minor seventh chord is essentially a C major chord with an A in the bass. And then if you go to D minor and you put, the B in the bass, it's a minor 7 flat 5. It shares all three of the notes of the four notes with the D minor. E minor, it's the 7th, so it's a C major 7th. Same thing up here. So it's kind of interesting. You can come up with a formula. If you have a major chord and you put a, you put 3 notes or C down to, A, so it'd be A, B, and C. So if you do that, it takes a major and it turns it to a minor seventh. If you have a minor and you put this in, it does a major seventh. Or sorry, in this case, it's the B minor 7 flat 5. So that's on the second. If you go to third degree and drop it, it's a major seventh. If you go to the fourth degree, which is a major, and you put that in, it's another minor seventh. Then if you go to here, this would be a dominant seventh. Wait, is that right? No, back to a minor seventh. Major seventh. The diminished there gives you the flat 7, or the dominant seventh. So it's kind of interesting that it's almost like if you're playing, you can substitute a minor seventh for the chord, substitute it for the C major. I'll have to think about it more, but it's just kind of fun to see this. So I'm just wondering if you can always use a dominant as a substitute for diminished. And I'm thinking possibly you can, because basically a G7 with no root is B diminished. Anyways, it's a little rambling, but I thought it kind of fun. And that's week 110. Probably more just discussion of where I went wrong with my music theory from Kaio. And I just, have a lot of work that I've been doing in the 30-day challenges, but I'm not ready to show the videos on that. It's just me playing the things faster and better than I did on the before video, but I really want to show it all on the after video. Anyways, have a good night. Here I am trying to vibrato.